Hello, beautiful Capricorn. We are here to do your astrology and your psychic update for July. We're also going to be channeling the energy as to other things that can be coming up for you guys. Now, for those of you that don't know, I'm a psychic medium. I'm also going to be mid-month giving an additional romance read, as well as if you are a twin flame and you're dealing with a karmic partner and you know their zodiac sign, or if you're dealing with maybe another person of a zodiac sign and they're not dealing with the astrological aspects, you can have a look at that energy, but just disregard the romance sector of it. So that will be an additional video I will be doing this month. Let's get into, in a subject sense, we have pulled your romance house and I have pulled a ruin for you, and it's very synchronistic as to your Saturn nature. Now, with the eclipse cycle that we're moving through, we're ending the nodal cycle. A lot of Cancer energy is still very heavily placed in our charts, and especially yours, which is really linking in with your romance house. Now, we will be having Venus direct, which will be alleviating some of that, but Mercury retrograde in Cancer is hitting your 7th house still, and it will be for much of this month. So it has been a theme that's been playing out for the last 2.5 years. So be it with contracts, with your partnerships, with your direct surrounding circles of friends, and anything that you're tapping into in a sense of luxury. Those things that are spiritual nature have been looked at and maybe simplified. Now, for you guys, you might have had a bit of a break at a spiritual level. And I can't really say a break. Really, from a perspective, it may have been just a different way of feeling the vibration. And that's because Saturn had been in Aquarius for a while. Now, at the beginning of the month, it is going to be going direct back into your first house placement. So you might be really reshaping the way people are seeing you, reshaping the way you see yourself, and you may be coming back to a psychoanalytical paradigm. We are going to be having an eclipse in your zodiac sign on the 5th of July. So I would say really you'll probably be feeling it from the beginning of the month. It'll be anywhere from the beginning all the way through to about a week, 2 weeks. But it will be ending a cycle out and tying that out, being that it is a full moon. And I have pulled a card for that for you. Again, with that placement, it is for you first house placement. So you may be tying up loose ends. Maybe if you're wanting to rejig the way you look, definitely with Venus going direct, it's going to be a better time energetically to be able to be completely decisive. You may have felt a bit like Venus, especially because it is first house placement and we did have Venus retrograde. It will link into really the Gemini frequency, where, during a Venus retrograde, you tend to go through the good, the bad, the ugly. And with that frequency, you may have, been looking at your life one way and then coming to a very critical point and maybe, seeing the yin yang of that and then coming to a very strict point and really having a very firm, maybe even harsh belief upon certain value systems and things that you were tapping into. A lot of us collectively were, with the eclipse in Cancer, the sacral chakra was activated. So food, energy, being hungry, they're not, maybe overindulging, emotional triggers coming up. It is quite normal for that to be, coming through in a frequency with that chakra system. You also do have the aspect that with the nodal energy, a lot of your health is going to be under the microscope for the next 2.5 years. Your work environment and your current environment will be under the viewpoint, and you'll be really guided towards moving towards that being the North Node in the 6th house. Pets can become incredibly important as well. But during the retrograde of Chiron, because it is in Aries, it's a cautious time around pets at the moment if their behavior is a little bit untoward. And, with that Mars energy kind of playing out, it can really be shaking that energy up a little bit. Now, from a psychological point of view, the way you may have been seeing something with the energy of Sagittarius being in the South Node for you, you may start really moving away from making very firm decisions. So if you've been on the fence about certain things, especially with the 12th house energy, 12th house energy can link into, a lot of things. It can be your psychology, your spirituality, your belief systems, religious connections. That's going to be a huge collective transformation. It'll cause a split at first and then, maybe a rewriting of that in a society sense. but at the same time, it can also link into siblings. It's deemed as the house of our subconscious mind, hidden resources, secrets, enemies, and our responsibility. But it also can come down to, with the 12th house, our psychology and our mental health, as well as illicit affairs and imprisonment. So, really a lot of caution around that. But because it is the South Node, it's really walking away from that energy and moving towards turning over that new leaf. Now, the ruin that you have coming up is such, and it is in reverse. And I found it to really resonate with the frequency of Capricorn. With you guys very much navigated by Saturn. Saturn will be going direct at the beginning of the month. And a lot of this is really talking about taming the beast, man and beast working together. And it's almost like our shadow side, understanding who we are. Chiron retrograde, again, looking at it and maybe battling it a little bit. With this in the reverse, it is to do with recklessness, haste, disharmony, mistrust, and betrayal. Subjects of that can be playing out in your mind, or it could be the resonance of what you feel is around you. Saturn is very, very strict in a sense, and especially with your zodiac sign, you tend to be very focused on being quite accountable. It's your innate nature. So although it is the devil card in the tarot, and in your general energy we do have that there, I'm not picking that as a negative thing. It can be coming through because Saturn is moving back into your first house, as well as we're having Chiron going retrograde. So it's understandable that that frequency is coming through. Now, this could be relating to an external energy or your energy. It can be a belief system that you are purging, and it does link into the element of air, which the first message I was getting psychically this morning was Venus is going direct, plus it's the energy of Libra, which is Venus, it's air. So, and your 7th house placement does link into the Cancer energy. So it is making sense. Subjects surrounding that potentially could be playing out right now. You may be trying to assess and understand. And there is a secondary opportunity with the blue moon in July to give you a second chance to actually rewrite that energy. Now, with the nodal energy, you always find, well, which I've found over the last 4 years that I've been on YouTube, is that you don't ever leave the node completely in a sense of it's a permanency. It's more whatever house that falls in, it's deeply transformed due to having to focus on the North Node. So I have found that to be a huge resonance and change. So anything linking in with family is 4th house placement, your home, your relationships, the people you connect with. If you feel they're imbalanced, because we have Mercury retrograde, it may be a little bit off during the month. You may be sensing things, calling things out, dealing with them, being the Saturn energy, the father figure of the universe. You may need to be pulled into situations to actually balance them out. I'm sensing as though these are themes that can be coming up with you with this air element. Now, it does state that it's very linked to tribal groups, competition, and aggressive neighbors. Pegasus, which makes sense, Odin, and the 8-legged white stallion of Odin, to whom no obstacle was insurmountable. Very Saturn energy. Breaking into the wild horse requires more than brute force. Man and beast merging as one. So yeah, again, I'm really feeling Mars energy. Now, travel, partnerships, marriage, and self-control. And it's unique that this is coming up in the reverse. So it can be a connection outside of you, or being very decisive as to what is and what isn't. And those of you that feel certain people, scenarios, workplace agreements, etc. aren't boding, I do feel with your Saturn energy moving back into your first house, I feel you'll be taking direct action in that area to actually make very firm decisions. And this is really almost like, the Leo King said, it's the last call, so to speak. Now, Saturn is going to be in your first house for about 5 to 6 months, more so towards the end of the year. So if it has felt quite testing over the last 2.5 years, we are ending this cycle. It could amp up around the lunar eclipse for you. So try and keep grounded and use crystals to balance you. Now, the crystal I pulled for you is green tourmaline, and I think this is hilarious because the first stone I was thinking of for you guys was tourmaline for psychic attack. But this is green tourmaline, which does make sense because it's very Venus orientated. Heart chakra and Venus aspects and attributes, plus the 7th house placement with Cancer is really still firmly playing out for you. Abundance and prosperity are an infinite supply. I am grateful for the blessings in my life. And it's really about you being that blessing, you understanding your self-worth value. And there could have been some revelations during the last 2.5 years. And really you're coming to this pivotal point where you're saying, look, I really need to do what is going to be healthiest for me and invest in these scenarios that now that I've had that Venus retrograde aspect, I can actually make very healthy decisions based on what will be best for me. Believe in ultimate wealth and success. And wealth is a very spiritual energy, especially in an element of manifestation. 9 times out of 10, we look at it as a financial attribute. But I have found at a very spiritual level that, you know, you're never going to be alone. If we block ourselves off from people, yes, we are. If we believe that we can achieve something, it will directly be attracted to us. 9 times out of 10, it happens in the ethers first in our mind. And then it directly is attracted to us because of a magnetic connection. So anything linking in with your heart's desires, your business endeavors, I do feel with your decisive action this month is really going to help. Now, in the past position, as I said, I have pulled the romance house, so stay tuned. The past position, processing, betrayals, hurts, you know, all energies that did not resonate with you. Maybe feeling a little bit lost, focusing on what we didn't have versus what we do have right now. And maybe in that lack mentality, there may be an energy. You're coming up more so in the read, in the present position, as the devil in the detail, but I'm not feeling this card to be a toxic energy pertaining to you. I feel it's more, you may be seeing things very clearly. You may have to deal with certain things that are very, and I keep saying testy, but it sounds bad. They're very icky, so to speak, okay? Whatever these things are, you're in your Saturn energy to be able to achieve these. You may not be as patient this month. You might get quite frustrated. But just be mindful that you have had the time during the retrograde to assess what is best for you. And nobody can speak for you but you. Moving forward, there can be 2 opportunities. And I do feel you're really linking in. Some of you may be waiting for positions, etc. You might be looking at other aspects of what you could do outside of a field you were previously working in if you are not working. And I'm really guided to do videos based on the aspect of looking at the tools we have in our life to co-create. And that can be if we aren't working and what we can do that is within our power, yet what society says is no, this is what we need to do. So some of those videos I will be making, but some of you may be thinking of a business venture. And I do feel you guys are almost in a very psychic level, tuning into what you'd need to do to protect yourself. There can be 2 main areas that are coming up for you. And I do read the cards very intuitive, not always directly connected to the element of what the interpretation is for the card. I feel for some of you, there may be this aspect where there's 2 options. This can be 2 people, 2 opportunities. You're the key to it though. It's for you to decide what's best. No path is going to be wrong. Wherever you're meant to be, you'll be guided to. Each one is merely a journey over a direct wrong or right energy, providing it's a higher frequency, obviously. What else am I getting from this? I do feel some of you may decide that you do have a current job, but you also know you may not want to be there permanently. And I feel a lot of networking in your mind that you're meditating upon what you could be in the future and what would be best for you. Also with the energy frequency of the 6th house playing out, I'm sort of feeling very technical energy, needing to look at documentation and paperwork because at a collective level, the 6th house is Virgo. So it is more to do with both, you know, your stress levels in your environment and technology, your day-to-day routine. It's going to be really under the microscope for the next 2.5 years. So, you know, pay attention to that. And by fine tuning it, I do feel you're going to get the best out of it. This can be very much with the Gemini nodes being there, where transitional careers are going to be coming through. And many of you may be using internet-based technology to actually generate incomes and do things to that degree. But there can be upgrades during this Mercury retrograde as well with the actual technology and employment. For you guys with your money sector, let's have a look. Yeah, it's like you're assessing it. You're assessing the risk. You're being very sudden at the moment. You're like, okay, bigger picture. Again, it's the vibration of 7, which is abundance, and you have the heart chakra energy, plus the Tomboline. You're looking at the bigger picture as to how can you take direct accountability. Even if there may be slight signs of cracks in your financial aspect, I feel it's more at an intuitive level. You're already getting these hunches. So you're tapping into and preparing for that energy moving forward. Now, your career sector, there is going to be a celebration, and you may be very, very loyal to your career, but there can be a birthday or an energy around it. And you may, it's funny because it more feels your hermit mode energy. You're holding yourself in the back. And I feel with the 9 energy, this can be at a social function. And this could have been a past event. This could be meditation that you're looking back on. If there was a social event and you were at it at work, for some of you, this is a very direct message. I do feel there was 1 or 2 people that were at that location that may have remembered something you said, and they're looking at you in a positive light, but I think you're underestimating yourself. Also, when it does come to networking, sending out resumes and things to that degree, or thinking outside the box, I do feel even if you are in the energy of 9, it's almost coming to a completion. Whatever something is, the fruits of your labor are going to come back full 360. I also feel there could be an offer, but it's you're investing in something for the bigger picture. I also feel many of you are wanting to have more fun at work, in a sense that you want that vibration to be more upbeat. And if you feel that is not for you where you are, I feel many of you may be moving. Some of you that aren't working, whatever you're investing your direct energy in, it could be more social energy due to the Gemini nodes, because Gemini energy is very social. That can be even if it's home-based activities, listening to music, taking yourself into a better vibration. It does feel more that energy, but through that could come a career. Don't know how that lands, but I'm sensing it's almost like a hobby can turn into something that can be quite lucrative. Now, your tribe energy at the moment, which does make sense, is the Chariot in reverse. Again, with the Cancer energy through this month, try not to take it personal. We're trying to iron the creases out when it comes to family and tribe. You may be moving away from people, being very busy. Chiron retrograde is really hitting your 4th house. So again, it can be, doing a lot of repairs on the home front, being home, maybe even thinking back over old situations mentally, emotionally. But a lot of you are going to really feel a little bit more tired than usual, but energetically be almost saying to yourself, I've got to get these things done. It's almost like your 6th sense is kicking in, that it is going to be a very busy 5 months for us moving forward. So whatever these delays are, again, I do feel you're keeping away from certain people, and you may choose to actually, venture back to the home energy and do some recuperation and meditation. And I'm hearing the term, it takes 2 to tango. It's like just wanting to really fix things, tidy things up, get things organized. And I almost feel movement for you. So some of you may even be thinking, do I sell the house or do I need to move? Being that is in the 4th house, but I feel you'll have the courage and the movement to move through that. You may feel tired. It may be deeply accountable energy with Mercury retrograde, but at the same time, I do feel you'll be able to achieve it. Your family energy, again, very critical. Some of you may know of a person in your surroundings that is going through a breakup. Again, I just find your energy to be very quiet, and you're visually viewing things and observing it. And it is directly relating to you in some shape or form, like you have experience. But it is helping you either A, mentally and emotionally come to terms with it, with the nodes being in Sagittarius, or B, you feel something isn't changing there and there could be some sort of a legality. Now, this could be if you are in a family and you feel you're not in the connection and it's not resonating with you. Some of you may be looking at the legalities connecting to this. There also may be insurance premiums and things to that degree that are coming up that haven't changed yet, and you're having to backtrack and actually do that element of paperwork. But some of you, there may be a legality coming up, so to speak. Now, the eclipse, what's coming up for you guys in the eclipse? We're almost at the romance, right? We're getting there. Stress. First house placement makes sense, right? Slight delay on this. Plus, Saturn's entering your first house again. Then we're having the eclipse in Capricorn, which you guys have been having plenty of those. 5 does denote change, which is really quite synchronistic. And this energy here is 5. So whatever's playing out between the Capricorn-Cancer axis for you guys, which I've mentioned, it has been very testing. And I feel you because I'm Cancer moon, so I'm on that opposite axis. It is balancing out. Whatever is not working is definitely going to come up. And again, I'm just seeing you guys in your own energy going, seriously? You might be a little bit, I don't even think you can be bothered to say anything. I just feel deep frustration. Allow the cards to fall where they're meant to fall. If it's outside of your energy, plus because it's your moon energy, you always feel you go through an energetic internal transformation. So this could be the stress spiking. Use the tourmaline to cope with it. Green tourmaline, definitely, because you've got the 7th house activation. You can't make up how this works, right? Almost Saturn energy, Odin, which is Saturn, God, Gaia, Source, Buddha, Allah, whatever you want to dictate it. Your spiritual belief systems, how you're directly dealing with the energy. I just feel keep grounded. You know, you might be agitated, leave a few days either side, but I feel this is an internal transformation. So if people are going to mess with you, it's almost like you're trying to close your throat chakra and you're like, oh, you might want to go into hermit mode just for those few days either side. It will adjust, but it is a full moon, so it's letting something go. So yes, spiritually something can come up. Now, at a karmic level, if it hasn't tied up, leave others to deal with theirs and you just sit with your frequency. If you need to directly deal with something, this can be a very stressful time. You will try and do it with heart-centered energy, but I just feel like you guys don't want to say anything. You're almost shaking your head. I just feel the shaking head. Now, the new moon in Cancer, this is where it gets good, okay? Things will return to a balanced pace, providing people are on board and they're working with you. In relationships, because we will have Mercury going direct more towards the end of the month, and this is the new moon in Cancer, which is a blue moon. It's giving you a beautiful second chance to turn over that new leaf and usher in beautiful energy, be it's with a direct partner you're with or people around you. You will have the strength to deal with things and you'll be like, okay, now that I've done that purgatory experience or I've seen things, experienced things, had the retrogrades, I just feel like you guys are more at an open space to be doing that, but there can be some agitation and frustration during the month. Now, with your head, with your romance, I'm telling you, you're very much in your Saturn energy. You're very much in your psychic energy as to the way you're seeing things. Maybe even reflecting back to the past about what relationships meant, how you wanted to join with this individual, how things went down. Like I said, you know, you're stepping into your own energy of who you innately are, which is very Saturn orientated. There also can be a family related dynamic. If you've been having issues with children and things to that degree, I do feel at a legal level it can be balancing out. And maybe even in a prospective sense, you're trying to make peace with certain situations and accept them for where they stand. If there has been a hurdle relating into exes and karmic frequency, I do feel you're stepping into your power and you're really putting your foot down. And again, with your spiritual beliefs, you're having the courage to move forward. And I do feel the Jupiter energy is really, had been pushing that from the end of last month into this month to really get us back on our road at a spiritual level. If you're a feminine tuning into a masculine. This is where this person is. You can energetically feel them rising. But I do feel it's more the spiritual connections where, you know, you're trying to take your power back and trying to move forward. It's unique because at the end of the year, we are going to have both Saturn and Jupiter. And this is very much Sagittarius energy, which is Jupiter. And the nodes are in Sagittarius at the moment. Moving into the space of working together and being in the zodiac sign of Aquarius. Which for you, that is your second house. So as to assets, professional resources, and all of that domain, your career will really thrive. There can be some karmic lessons surrounding that, but, you know, don't try and come to the space with it where you understand it's a spiritual process. So it is going to benefit you, and it is highlighted that we're moving towards that. So there will be growth in that sector for you. Romantically speaking, any issues you guys have been having, maybe in a cognitive way and seeing each other's perspective. It's unique that you've got Sagittarius in your 12th house because you do have this here. It's almost like all of a sudden things start becoming very, very clear for you. You may be getting almost telepathic messages or be feeling people's vibrations around you more so than you ever have before. Your past does not have to signify what's moving forward, and that's really what is being shown to me. You know, the foundation, there may have been people that weren't working with you. And even if this person you're tuning into wasn't in the past, that is the past. And it is showing that this is transformed. The way they're looking at you is very much that they do have very, very deep emotions. And they're sort of aware, either at a synchronistic psychic level, or if you're with this person, they know that you are feeling a little bit sensitive at the moment. Maybe on guard, and I'm hearing warranted. So let's move along. I really feel they just want to make peace. Like they understand the way you see it. They also want you to know that they weren't quite ready for that. You know, they didn't have that power there. They were in their ego and they weren't ready to see it from your perspective. They're seeing it from a different perspective. Now, I am feeling some of you might have been dealing with an ex, and that could have been causing problems. And I do feel you guys have both individually at some point in time dealt with a person who was a little bit averse, and now you're seeing eye to eye with this. But they're being quite direct. It's almost like the way they're coming through is like they want you to hear them out. You're looking quite stunned. You're looking at them like, I can see through the cracks. And they're looking at this like, look, I'm tuning in. I'm sensing what you're feeling. I know you're looking at me. This person is like, look, I'm seeing your perspective now. I'm in my higher energy. So this could even be an apology or trying to make peace with the situation. But it's the art of appreciation. It's like coming full 360. And that's why with this eclipse in Cancer, an eclipse in Cancer that's past, plus Mercury in Cancer, then the new moon, the blue moon in Cancer, it's almost like if you can have the strength and be open to this vibration, be it it's a new person you're ushering in or this direct person that you're currently with or tuning into, it does feel both of you are on the same page right now, even if this hasn't been spoken. Now, yes, there was a lot of adversity in both of your lives and there were a lot of tower moments, but you also maybe operated from a place of maybe there could have been a child involved for some of you at a very separate level. You're seeing the innocence now, that there were cross wires. You know, maybe you had responsibilities on both sides. I'm going to pull a clarifier. Which ones will I use? If you see the rows of cards I've got, I'll be getting some new ones soon. Yeah. This person was really spiritually stuck. You just don't want no more drama. Well, look, if you're coming to me, Yeah, don't bring your drama. That's really what this person has been doing, a lot of work on themselves. Yes, they're saying in their heart they were very trapped. They're deeply connected to you. You just don't want no more drama. You're like, look, keep that at the door. No more drama. You're open to love. You came from a place of love. You might have dealt with a very karmic individual that, was not showing that. And that might have been the environment you came from childhood. But regardless, even if you empathically understand, I do feel you guys are just really ready for a higher frequency connection. And you'll do what you need to do for that. There is some pain that is being kind of worked out between the two of you. Yeah. 4th house placement, okay. Okay, if you're not with this person, I'm going to get that card. Typical. Yeah, it's almost like if you guys weren't together, they're really feeling this loss. They're feeling this awareness. I feel overall, it's almost like you've sent out to the ethers what you want and it's coming back to you, but you don't believe it. Try and be open to it, because you could be your own worst enemy at this point. If you've really ushered in this beautiful energy, be it you're with them or not, and it starts coming towards you, I'm hearing the term very superstitious. Sometimes we believe our intuition protects us, and then we get angry when it doesn't. But it's not necessarily that your intuition was incorrect. 9 times out of 10, it's that it's not our job to be accountable for another person. I mean, if they're a child, it's different. But as for an adult and our actions and our pain body experience, is a very separate energy. Yes, the foundation was cruel. You may have to be very straight towards this person, what your needs are, but I do feel they'll come full 360. At this point, I'll leave it where it stands. They are still doing work on themselves. I do feel you may get really tired, but just pace yourself. Now, as to this tower, if there's a slight delay, it's not permanent. It is bringing you guys back to a very connected connection with whomever this may be. If you are wanting me to tune into your energy mid-month, I will be giving an additional read to see how this energy is flowing. This is for the beginning of the month, and I'm also doing the karmic read, as I mentioned. Now, do stay tuned if you want live personalized readings. During my live sessions, I answer questions for Super Chat, as well as if you do want a personal booking for me to tune into your direct romantic interest, the link's below. Love and light, guys.